Averages and range. There are three averages that we need to know how to calculate at GCSE. These are the mean, mode and median. Now these have all been covered before lower down in school, but let's remind you what each of these three averages mean and how you calculate them. So the mean, you add up all the values, then you divide by the number of pieces of data. So what that means is you add up all your information, and then if there's 5 things you've just added up, you divide by 5. The mode is the most common value. There can be more than one mode. And also when we come to look at finding averages from tables, sometimes the mode is referred to as the modal class when we're looking at grouped data. And the median is the middle when in order. If you have 2 values in the middle, then you add them up and halve them. The real key thing here when finding the median is you must make sure that you always put the data in order first. And remember, if you have 2 values in the middle, you add them up and halve them, or you just think what number is directly in the middle of these 2 numbers. Now, the other thing we need to know how to calculate is the range. The range is not an average, it shows the spread of data, and the smaller the range, the better. The range is found by doing the biggest value minus the smallest value. Now, the reason that we're looking for a smaller range, it shows a greater consistency. If you think about a footballer, a striker, who maybe scores 6 goals in one game, but then scores no goals for the next 7 games, he's got a range of 6. Whereas you might have a striker who scores 2 or 3 goals every game, so he has a range of 1, so he's got more consistency than the other one who scores 6 in one game and none in any of the other games. Now let's try and apply this information to a couple of examples. Now we also need to be able to compare averages, so we can compare 2 different data sets. So we're told here that Tim collects information about the price for a pint of milk from 8 supermarkets and 8 corner shops. The prices are all in pence and shown below. So we've got the supermarket prices and we've got the corner shop prices. And we want to know which one is cheaper on average. Now to do this, we need to make sure that we know how to compare 2 data sets. And to do this, we really need to find the 3 averages, the mean, median and mode, and the range for both the supermarket and the corner shop. So if we're going to work on the left hand side, we're going to look at the supermarket, and if we're going to do on the right hand side, we're going to look at the corner shops. So let's find the mean, mode and median for both of the groups. And then also let's find the range to see which one is more consistent. So let's start off with finding the mode, because that's a very quick one to do. So the mode, what is the most common value in this supermarket set? Well, if you look, it's already in order, so that's going to help us massively. So you can look, the 29 appears twice, so the mode is 29. Let's look in the corner shop. So we're looking for a number that appears more than once. Well, in this case, it's actually 2. There's 26 because that appears twice, and 35 appears twice. So you've got 26 and 35. There can also be occasions when you don't have a mode, because there's no values that appear more than once, which is fine. Now, let's also now find the median. Now remember, before you find the median, you must make sure that your data is in order. Well, this has been very kind for us because I've put both lists in order for you already. So now we just need to cross off until we get to the middle. So 23 and 33, 24 and 29, 25 and 29. Please make sure now, before you go and find the median, you've got the same number crossed off both sides. So I've got 1, 2, 3 off the left and 1, 2, 3 off the right. Now we have 2 values in the middle, so what we have to do is we have to add those up, so 26 and 27, and then divide that by 2. Well, 26 and 27 is 53, and half of 53 is 26.5. which you could also do by thinking what number is in the middle of 26 and 27. Now, let's do the same for the corner shop. So 1 off each side. Remember, this is in order already. 2, 3. So let's just check we've got the same off both sides. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we've got two values, 33 and 35. So add them up and divide by 2. So 33 add 35 is 68, and half of 68 is 34. Or what number is in the middle of 33 and 35? And the final one, before we go and find the mean, let's find the range, which is the biggest value. So for the supermarkets, that's 33, and the lowest one is 23. So take them away and you end up with 10. We do the same for the corner shop. You've got 43, the highest, minus 26, which is equal to 17. So the last one we need to find is the mean, which is where we add up all the information and divide by how many there is. So we've got to add up 23, add 24, add 25, add 26, add 27, add 29, add 29, add 33. And if you do that on a calculator, you get 216. And now we need to divide that by the number of bits of information, which says 8 because we're looking at 8 supermarkets and corner shops, and that gives you 27 as the mean. Now if we find the mean for the corner shops by adding up 26, add 26, add 32, add 33, add 35, add 35, add 42, add 43, you get 272. And if you divide that by the 8 corner shops we looked at, you get a mean of 34. So we were asked, is it the supermarkets or the corner shop which is cheaper for milk? Well, if we look at the mean for both, we see that the supermarket is 27p and the corner shop is 34p. So the mean shows that the supermarket is cheaper for milk. If we look at the mode, well, we have 29 for the supermarket and 26 or 35 for the corner shop. So on that one, you'd probably still say that the supermarket is cheaper because it has a 1 at 29, whereas one is at 35p, which is quite a lot more than the 29p. On the median, you'd look and you'd say, yeah, the 26.5 is cheaper than the 34, so the supermarket is still cheaper. And finally, if we look at the range, we can see that the range for the supermarket is 10, and for the corner shop it's 17. So the supermarket prices are more consistent because there is only a range of 10. So overall, you'd say that the supermarket is cheaper for milk than the corner shop.